Hello everyone and thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about Chainlink and its valuation against Bitcoin. Remember, if you like the video, hit the like button down below and also hit subscribe. We've been hurting a lot with Chainlink. We've been looking at Chainlink for quite some time, and I think out of all days, today is some good news. Um, my last previous video talking about the dominant chart, we talked about how altcoins are starting to rally. It's a good day as of right now of recording. It's a good day for altcoins, and that's something to be good about. Now, daily moves are a misnomer. It could go either way and might not necessarily give you the best insight on the entire macro view. When we look at the macro view of Chainlink, even with the recent downtrend of about 60% from the recent all-time highs, I think the macro view has not changed, and because of that, what I'm looking at on shorter time frames, like the daily chart, is starting to see any signs at all of a reversal. For a long time, I had this falling wedge pattern drawn out here. For the longest time, Chainlink has been on the upper line of that resistance. And today, on Sunday, we are finally poking out. Now, let me be clear, wedge patterns are not 100% foolproof. If that was the case, then everyone would be using it and everyone would be rich. However, I think it's a good way to show if there is a reversal. If we see today, today is only like 4.5%, which is great. We see that it's coming out of the line. Now, the question is in the coming days and weeks, do we see continuation of this? Do we see a rise of valuation against Bitcoin to indicate a reversal? That is the question. And I think when you draw out these patterns here, it's a lot easier to see and determine if there is a reversal, which I think is the most important part, rather than saying, oh, Chainlink is above the trend line, time to buy, it's going to come, right? Because this, like we've seen in times past, especially here, that is not the case. It came out, came back down, and started working its way in that wedge. So it can happen and it can fake you out. At this point, I'm not waiting. When you're looking at these wedge patterns. Sorry for the sidetrack, but I feel like I really want to say this. When you're working with wedge patterns, it's not like when I see them. It's not like when I see a wedge pattern, like it breaks to the upside, that's when I immediately buy. It's not as clear as that. For me, I think, okay, where are we in the wedge pattern here? Are we here? Are we here? And you kind of generally draw it out and you say, okay, looking at this, Chainlink could possibly drop, say, 60% if it continues within this wedge pattern before breakout. With that said, let us accumulate this coin when it's 3/4 of the way there. So let's say here. From here on, you're going to buy within the wedge. Say, okay, I'm going to accumulate within the wedge, and then we're going to wait for the breakout to come to you, which is what I did. I saw this pattern, started buying, started accumulating. I did not buy any when it came to breakout here. I will not buy just because it broke out here. I'm still accumulating, but the reason for accumulation is not because of that breakout. It's because I told myself I am willing to buy until Chainlink gets to a certain price in a certain amount of time, because I think it's a good trade. And I think that's how, this is not financial advice, but I think that's how people should be looking at it. It's looking at a general area, general price, and general time. Say, okay, I'm going to accumulate this, and whatever happens, happens. But when looking at the chart, it's in my, financial guess of a calculated risk that this is a good buy. It is going up, and this is, on a discount. Should you be one of those people that wait for a breakout to then buy? Sure, I can understand that logic. You want to see that confirmation. For you and for a lot of people, it might give some sort of seldom assurance that you're making the right trade. However, you could be faked out. So out of anything, when you're doing that, I would recommend not putting all your eggs in one basket, relying on that breakout, because it can fake you out. You could also be in some ways chasing that rise, and I'm not one to want to buy a coin when it's already up a certain amount of percent, because the higher it goes, the higher chance of it coming down. And that's just fact, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't consider buying XRP when it was up. That when it was up at this 3600 SAL level. I'm still not considering buying it even at this price level of 27.36. Not happening. But with Chainlink, I think what my position is right now is good. I'm quite happy with it in comparison to the rest of my portfolio. I think it's a good size. It's comfortable for me, and it's the amount of money I'm willing to risk on the coin for me. That will definitely be different than all of yours, and all of yours will be different from each other. But I think that right now Chainlink is looking good, and the narrative has not changed. The idea that this coin will rise again, I think, is truer, and has a high probability of happening. And we'll see when that happens. Looking at the wedge, it could be any day now. It could be a week from now. It could be a few weeks. Who knows? It could very well, and I've mentioned this before. It could break down to the downside, and I would say that if it does get to this level of about 53,000 sats, this is an amazing buy, at least for me, because when we see in times past, prior resistance levels become new support levels, and it always seems to be with the local highs of that time, right? So let me bring it back here and show you. So you can see every red line is a resistance level and support level of the prior high to when it breaks through, makes a new high and comes back down, becomes the new support every single time with Chainlink. It's when you're looking at the price history of Chainlink, it looks very, very clear. And when looking at this, it could potentially come down there too. And if it does, I will be buying. If it doesn't, so be it. I have what position I have right now. I'm okay with, and I'm perfectly happy with, and I'm going to be willing to ride it out all the way to the top. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Chainlink's up 4.5%. 4.25 now, but 4.25% roughly. And we'll see where this goes. We'll see if it's able to close above it, and then on Monday, things should get interesting. Should it continue up? Should it come back down? We'll see. Who knows? Odds are, if we've seen when Bitcoin does this 2.84% of the last week or two, the following day Bitcoin goes down and it's a sea of red. Now that red's not terrible; it's like a percent down, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. It's very exciting stuff. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye bye.